Hey everybody, this is Rachel Gardner, and you are listening to Spiritual Musings of a Popcorn Brain. Welcome to Season 5, where we will be sharing God stories. I'm hoping each week to bring you a new or longtime friend who has a story to share with you, something encouraging for you that will show you how God has worked directly in their life. I hope you're encouraged. Hey guys, this is Rachel, and today I have with me a good friend, Dane, and she is going to share a God story with you.
Thank you, Rachel. I just want to thank you so much for having me today. I feel really honored. Talking about what God has done in my life and how he has spoken to me is one of my favorite things to talk about. So thank you. So last year I had never read the Bible all the way through. So I embarked upon a read the Bible in a year planner where you read the beginning, you read a section of the Old Testament, a section of the New Testament, and then you read Psalms. So I start that in January 2023. And mind you, my family had never done BSF before, which is a Bible study fellowship. And we had signed up for that as well in September the previous year. So we're kind of in it. It goes by school year. We're learning about, at that time, we were learning about the kingdom divided when Israel was not just Israel. It was Judah too. It had been separated, it divided, right? So we're studying that. Okay. 2 things I'm doing that I've never done before. We're also in the middle of selling our home. We had decided when COVID hit and all of that mess around all that happened, we realized our priorities. We didn't need that big house. We wanted to really simplify our life. We wanted to get rid of debt and live simpler and smaller. So we decided to put our house on the market. And I'm not going to lie, we put it on the market in July of 2022. And I'm speaking of, the moment where God was speaking to, the specific moment I'm going to talk about today is happening in March of 23. March and April 23. We are still not selling our house. It had already gone through 2 times of almost getting sold, but they fell through for one reason or another. And it's very discouraging. Our family was very discouraged. I get up in the morning and I called it my Bible in a year, like an acronym for that. And I read this story that I've never read before in my life in Numbers. And I believe it's in chapter 22, but it's talking about this guy Balaam and a donkey. And the crazy donkey talks to him because he's been hit twice by Balaam, and is like, the donkey basically turns around and goes, there's an angel of the Lord right there. I can't go down that way, dude. It's blocked. Literally can't go down that way.
Yeah.
Okay. So I read that, and my husband is I don't know why, for whatever, I would have gone and talked to him right away because he has been a believer all his life. And I'm like, surely you know this story. This is crazy. A donkey is talking. And he does, for some reason, I didn't get a chance to talk to him about it. So I have the day, it had to have been on a Monday because we had BSF that night. And we went to BSF, and I'm sitting there. And I am 45 years old. I have never heard this story before. I've been a believer all my life. And the lecture is about this story, Balaam. And this crazy donkey, telling Balaam, stop hitting me. I guess you don't see him. Yeah. But it is blocked and we can't go this way. Mm-hmm. And so finally, after the lecture, we go to a BSF where the men go to and the kids have their thing. It's all at one church. It's pretty cool. It's pretty special. So on the way home, I'm talking to him. We're all 4 in the truck on the way home. And I'm talking to him about this crazy, how I've never heard of the story before, how I read it this morning, how I read it tonight, that, how the lecturer is going over it tonight and it's going to be in our homework. And I said, as I'm verbalizing it outside of my head, talking to him about it, I realize, could this blockage be anything to do? Could God be telling me that he's protecting us? And that's why these cells of our home is not happening. And with that thought, how corrupt is my heart? I get more frustrated. But my husband doesn't. He is deeply comforted. And he's the head of my home. Mm-hmm. I want the head of my home to be comforted. Mm-hmm. And he, long story short, basically that message was for him because he was praying for God to tell him why all this was happening. Mm. And that is why the Lord was blocking it to protect us. Well, lo and behold, if we had sold it those other 2 times, it would have cost us an unsurmountable amount of money. Wow. To all the things, because our new home wasn't going to be ready until a certain time. And do you know that God orchestrated the sale of our home in perfect timing?
Nice.
So that is just one example. When I started, of course I have many other examples where God has spoken into my life and he has worked in my life. And after the fact, I saw that it was God. Mm-hmm. But I got to tell you, girl, since I've started this whole reading my Bible every day and on a plan to read it in a year and whatnot, because I've started it over this year, mm-hmm. that is one of hundreds of times that God has spoken to me. And it's like, duh, I'm in your word. Only 45, figuring this out. But that's my story, and I hope that encourages someone.
That's wonderful. That encourages me, and that reminds me of more stories that I could share too. So thank you so much. Hey guys, I have spoken with Dane, and she has her own YouTube channel called Bible in a Year. And I will put that as a link in my podcast. If you have any questions for her, you can reach out to her that way. If you have a God story that you would like to share with me, please look on the link that's at the bottom of the description for this episode, and you can send me a voice message. And I will listen to it and we will see if we can share it. And also, if you found this episode encouraging, please share it with someone and subscribe so that you don't miss any more of these God stories that we're going to be sharing.